Talking now to David Richards, who of course is the team principal of the MINI World Rally team and the boss of Prodive and a former World Rally champion himself, co-driver to Ari Vatanen in 1981, and a man who's guided three men to World Rally Championships, Colin McRae, Richard Burns and Petter Solberg. David, you've welcome back of course to the WRC. It's great to have you back and the team back this year. But you said last week that you thought it was time for a consensus in the World Rally Championship about where the championship is going and what it should be doing. What exactly do you mean by that? Why do we need it?
Well, we've got lots of disparate views at the moment, and everyone's got a valid opinion, I'm sure of that. The manufacturers got their own ideas, the FIA have got their views on matches, and the fans and the spectators have got their own ideas of what they're looking for. And I just fear that we're all pulling in slightly different directions, hopefully with the same motive and the same end goal to make the World Rally Championship the spectacle and the success it has been in the past. But I do fear that we need to have a common opinion about things and drive towards a common goal. And too often I've seen us come with knee-jerk reactions. Let's go and do this and let's change this, without really exploring the rationale for it and the logic behind it. And we talk today about long distance rallies, we talk about sort of changing this, that, the other. I should be the first one to sort of hold my hand up and say, well, that sounds wonderful, that's what I really like doing. Ari and I thoroughly enjoyed the Acropolis rally when it went on for 5 days, and all these wonderful adventures that we used to do. But is it right for today, for the modern media? Is it right for the environment that we're in today? And how are we going to measure its success? It's all very well changing something, but if you're going to change it, you start by saying, what is the purpose of change? What is it we're trying to achieve? And how are we going to measure whether we've been successful with that or not? And the whole thing that should drive this is it right for the fans? Is it going to gain us better media coverage? Is it going to put our sport on the back pages or perhaps the front pages of newspapers again?
What do you think the formula could be?
Well, I think that's a matter of debate, but we've been fine-tuning the formula of the World Rally Championship for a few years now. There'll be those that say we've got it wrong and we've lost some of the great spectacle of the past, and we don't have some of the wonderful sort of imagery that we might have had from African events or from sort of night stages and things like that. But the reality is, if you start with the premise we're trying to appeal to the widest audience possible, not just the converted, those that have always followed the World Rally Championship, then to a certain extent we've been successful in that, because we have broadened its appeal. And all the research, despite the fact that sort of we might not think it gains the sort of media column inches that it has in the past, suggests that it is sort of well regarded and has got a sort of strong penetration, certainly in certain markets. You've only got to go to France, where World Rally Championship is way ahead of Formula One. But that's a Sebastian Loeb factor, and the fact that they haven't got any Formula One drivers today. But we just need to look at this scientifically. It's no good sort of all pulling in different directions and saying, let's go and do that, let's go and do this. We've got to get everyone around the table and have a common view.
You have, of course, got a rally man now in charge of the FIA. Jean Todt was competing. He came second, if I remember rightly, in 1981 in Brazil and things like that. And his heritage, he began as a driver, he became a co-driver. He took Peugeot to a couple of world championships in the 1980s before embarking on his famous Formula One career. He obviously has some strong views about how things should be, and he's got Michel Mouton alongside him now as manager of the championship. Will French views prevail?
Well, let's understand properly what those views are. Let's understand what changes Jean thinks is right for the championship, and he's got as you quite rightly say, a great sort of experience and very valid point of view. But let's understand what it is he thinks we should be doing. Let's then understand what the benefits of those changes might be, and then if we're all agreed on that, and I'm not sort of one for sort of saying I'm not prepared to change, I'm the one that says, look, tell me why we're going to change, and tell me what the benefits to me of change will be, and tell me how we're going to measure whether we achieve those benefits or not, and I'll support it.
The curious thing about this sport is that it does, as you say, have a huge fan base. Something like 20 million people around the world will go and physically watch a rally this year. And that's the kind of statistic that any sport would give its right and left arm for. Yet it doesn't seem to get the media coverage in any other country other than particularly France, where they, of course, have got a world champion. How do you get the media interested again in this sport?
Well, firstly, you've got to be realistic. The world sporting pages are dominated by football. And football is sort of a very simple sport to communicate and is a global sport and does extremely well. You've got the Olympics, and in motorsport terms, you've got Formula One. But in reality, we have to also accept that we are a minority sport, and as far as minority sports go, in general, we do get a lot of coverage. You know, there aren't many other motorsports that get any more coverage than rallying other than Formula One and the occasional motorcycle race. So, you know, in overall terms, it's not as bad as people seem to think. It's just the fact of the matter is that in recent years, sport has polarized, and the media is narrowed itself down to focusing on the key sports, and as I said, football, Formula One, another one in motorsport terms. And sports like the World Rally Championship go to narrower communication channels, iRally for instance, to where they can communicate with their fan base. And, you know, that's a fact of life.
You have got a lot of stakeholders in rally. You've got the FIA for a start. You've got the global promoter, North One Sport. You've got the manufacturers. You've got Michelin, the tyre maker. You've got a lot of people with interest. They must share, though, a lot of common interests.
There are a lot of common interests, and a lot of disparity of views as well, you know, of how we get to the same goal. But I've got great faith in the people like Jarmo Marhanen, who runs the Thousand Lakes Rally in Finland, who's run the best rally in the world without any doubt for many, many years, who is now chairman of the World Rally Commission. And I hope that he will start to put his footprint on matters and bring everyone together, as I believe is his role.
You're thoroughly confident then about the future of this sport?
I'm confident we have the right ingredients to deliver what's required. Getting there might be a sort of difficult path.